Hello and welcome to The True Believer. I'm your host, the Mighty MCU Man, and I'm here to talk to you guys about the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Welcome to the first episode of the Super Adaptoid analysis, and the episode we're going to tackle is Iron Man is Born. Now, the title comes from Tales of Suspense issue 39, and unlike the comic, this one starts off with Iron Man fighting Ultimo. Ultimo happens to be this giant robot that Iron Man has been fighting ever since Tales of Suspense 77 and 78. This robot was created by the Mandarin in order to pretty much take on Iron Man, but as you know, he blew it up. Only for Rhodey in this episode to kind of chew Tony out, which is something that this character is pretty much known for. And Rhodey was one of those really interesting characters that has showed up in Marvel Comics and has been Iron Man's confidant ever since Iron Man 117, but he didn't start getting a bigger role until Iron Man 144. Then we are introduced to Pepper Potts, Tony Stark's assistant, that made her first appearance in Tales of Suspense 45, where Iron Man had to save her and her husband, Happy Hogan, from the blizzard, not the one that you're thinking of, but the first blizzard. Moving on from that, we're going to get on to Iron Man, or Jarvis. Jarvis was first introduced in Tales of Suspense issue 59 and served as the Avengers' faithful butler. Here they're using the MCU variation of him where he is a AI protocol. And as we see Iron Man fighting Hydra, which first appeared in Tales of Suspense issue 135, we have Iron Man also fighting their first foe, the Hydra. I'm not editing that out. Hydra. And Iron Man has a very long history with fighting them in their dreadnoughts, their super weapon, and he also has a big history with blowing them up, which is something I find very interesting. Going on from there, we see the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, and we're introduced to Nick Fury and Maria Hill. Director Nick Fury is another character that has had a long history in Marvel Comics, his first appearance being in Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. This is something that has translated very well to the screen when it comes to Nick Fury, and most of his Howling Commandos are, in fact, members of S.H.I.E.L.D. Moving on from there, we kind of go to the Mandroids, which made its first appearance in Avengers 94, actually. And they pretty much serve the same purpose as they're robots meant to tackle supervillains, or pretty much bigger scales, even though that's what the Avengers are for. Only for us to be introduced to Maria Hill, who condones the use of these mandroids, and her first appearance was in New Avengers issue 4, where her first appearance pretty much ended up being Captain America telling her, I'm getting the Avengers together, whether you like it or not, I don't really care either way, you figure it out. These are things that inform us about this world more often, because the mandroids, S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, keep turning this wheel, and it only gets better from here, because after that we're going to be introduced to the Vault, a Marvel prison that was introduced in, I want to say, Avengers Annual 15. I could be wrong, I could be right. I'm going to just assume I'm right. And what we're going to see here is that the Vault happens to be a tech-based prison that the villains inhabit. It's in the comics, it's a prison that normally villains like of any sort are in there, and it's normally miles away from civilization, only for us to be introduced to James Woo. Jimmy Woo is pretty much like a different kind of James Bond. He is fun, he is interesting. James Woo, his first appearance was in Yellow Claw issue 1, and he has been one of the slickest Marvel characters ever since that point. This is something that you're going to find a lot in this show, is that they have these really interesting callbacks, and I can't wait to do more episodes. But as we're nearing the end of this episode, we're going to see Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, pretty much Nick Fury's main antagonist. And just like this, Nick Fury is being drained from the Satan's Claw, pretty much Baron von Strucker's main weapon, ever since the beginning of S.H.I.E.L.D. in Tales of Suspense, where that book was going on. And Strucker's very first appearance was interesting because he first appeared in Howling Commandos issue 5, Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos, excuse me. And from there we see that he is imprisoned again, and then Nick Fury brings up more prisons throughout the course of that episode. And he develops a more Ultimate Marvel team-up look, which is very interesting in regards to how they're portraying this Nick Fury, which is an amalgamation of 616 and Ultimate, something that I very much do appreciate. Well, because we're ending this show off early, I just wanted to see what you guys think about this. Give me a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel like. It would be greatly appreciated. I thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Peace.